Well, I've been in business here in my new market for about a year and a half. And oh, this lady did not even look before she pulled out in front of me. Okay, almost died. I have been trying to figure out what my rate should be. It's a new market here in Southport, Wilmington area. In some ways, things seem to be higher. In other ways, things are a little bit cheaper. And plus, my business is not a traditional HVAC service business like my last one was. Most of my business is actually doing consulting and design for builders and companies and helping contractors around the country. So a very small portion of the business is actually doing things here locally. The other part that makes my business a little bit more different is that I do a lot of consulting. And so there's a term in business called loss leader. And most of you are probably already familiar with that. It's where we get our foot in the door for less profit in hopes of being awarded more work at a higher profit. So when we think about what our service call rates are, doing maintenance calls, diagnostics, dispatch fees, all those things are generally loss leaders because it actually costs several $100s at least to send a technician and have them knock on somebody's door, diagnose a problem, give them solutions, and process all that paperwork before they can even get started on the actual work. So for my business, I have chosen to charge a much higher diagnostic rate. It still doesn't cover my costs for about the 2-hour process that it is for me to drive out there, diagnose the problem, do a full system assessment, and provide options, and then sell the work, process the paperwork, all that stuff. It still doesn't pay for all that, but I get close. And so then it's still up to me to try to convert that call into something else that I can do for them so that I can make the rest of my desired revenue out of that customer. Some of the big projects, like big installs, home performance work, I have to refer that out because I'm a one-man company. And so I have to make my profit margins on the front end. And so in a lot of ways, I'm more expensive than the traditional company to come out. My dispatch fee, my diagnostic fee, it's more thorough, but it's also way more expensive. And yes, I get a lot of people to say, oh, that's way too high, I'm calling somebody else. And I say, more power to you. But my business is a small consulting business and I'm not trying to grow. So running a traditional service business and trying to grow, you can't exactly do that model. And I get that. But the good thing about that is it helps me to vet my customers because they are probably already fed up with a problem. They've tried to get help. They have not been able to get that help. And so they are willing to pay somebody more if they have confidence that they're an expert. But for a lot of companies, they charge a much lower diagnostic rate. Their monthly service plans are only $15, $20 a month per unit. So when you add all that up, 2 maintenance visits a year, they're not really charging a lot to send the technician out there. That's a loss leader. Typical diagnostic service call fee is anywhere from free, I've heard of some companies waiving dispatch fees, to something, $79, $89, $99, maybe a little bit more. But in reality, nobody's making money sending a technician out for $99 anymore. And I think we all know that. But the less you charge on the front end, obviously the more you need to be able to make on the back end. And the problem that I have with charging $0 for a dispatch fee is that we don't vet our customers. And so your typical client that's going to want something for free, they're going to want you to come out there for free on the front end, and they're also going to try to get stuff for free from you on the back end. And then having them go and find somebody else who's cheaper to make the repair once you've given them that diagnostic. And that happens a lot. Say you charge $0 for a dispatch fee, and you find a loose wire nut on a unit that's just a year and a half old. I mean, how are you going to make money on that call? Fix the wiring. Maybe you're able to get something else out of them that's ethical, or you have to start making things up. And see, that's the ethical dilemma that a lot of these companies back themselves into, because they want to try to cast a wide net and try to get as many people as possible. So I guess what my question is, what are your thoughts? What have you found to be successful in the businesses that you work in? Do you think that charging a very low dispatch fee in the hopes of getting more work, is that working for you? Are you able to convert those calls at enough of a rate to get profitable work? Or do you think that charging a higher dispatch fee and using that to vet your customers, to get quality customers that are willing to pay you what you're worth, they're willing to compensate you for your time, that aren't trying to always get something for free, do you think that's the way? What has worked for you? Please comment below. And as always, thanks for watching.